G'day, welcome back to Fading Margins. Well, this video is something of a rant, I suppose, and I hope it will engender a discussion, and you can participate obviously by commenting below. I was feeling nostalgic the other day, and I was thinking, well, I'm going on a trip, and I thought it would be nice to have a couple of British made folders in my bag, you know, and if they turn out to be gifts, great. If they don't turn out to be gifts, they get to be spares. And I thought, well, I could go for wood handles. I like wood handles. I've got a lot of wood handles. I almost prefer wood handles. But I thought, no, it'd be nice to have them in buffalo horn. Buffalo horn's pretty. I like buffalo horn. So to cut a long story short, the manufacturer doesn't advertise buffalo horn, but I found a retailer in the same city. Now, I'm not mentioning the manufacturer because I don't want to blame the manufacturer. That's not my point here. It's to do with attitudes, and it's to do with misconceptions. And he advertised as having these with buffalo horn. I said, great. So I put in an order online for a couple of folders. Did a morning tea time. By the time I got to knock off, when I was walking back up to the car, low email, we don't have this one anymore, and there's a long waiting list, and perhaps you might consider this, that, the next thing. I said, forget it. Just go wrote him an email back and cancel it all. By the time I got to the car, of course, I'd kind of relented, and I rang them up. He said, yeah, I got your email. I said, well, you know. So we talked about it, and in the course of the conversation, I said, there's a couple of things, if I agree to this, there's a couple of things I can't tolerate, and I'd be grateful if you could check them before you ship. I said, one is lateral play in the blade. All right, there is no excuse, in my view, for a blade to wiggle in the joint. None at all, unless it's being used extensively and heavily, in which case you can, in which case it's not new, in which case you can pinch it up yourself. But it shouldn't be coming out of the factory or being bought new, in my opinion, with play in the blade, in the socket. And the second thing I really can't tolerate is what I call a broken back. This is the only knife I have that has it, because all the others I'd sent back. This is an Arthur Wright & Sons Farmer, and the only reason I keep it is because I've had it for a long time, and it's a bloody good knife. It's a bit difficult to see on the screen here, but if I turn it upside down, you'll see it. You can see the way the blade kicks up, which means that blade is kicking down when I turn it around the other way. And I just think there's no reason for it. Here's another Arthur Wright Sons. This is the sheep's foot, lamb's foot that you saw in the other video. That doesn't do it. Here's a duk. That doesn't do it. A case sodbuster, that doesn't do it. Here's a knife from Titusville, a GEC, that doesn't do it. Here is a Rough Rider, and that doesn't do it. The list goes on and on. Anyway, cut a long story short, the guy would not even check. He said, oh, they're all wrapped up in plastic, this, that, and the next thing. So I thought, well, I thought to myself, well, if I was there, would you not let me handle them before I bought them? I'd have to take them out sealed. So I was starting to get a bit tetchy at this point. And I said, well, he said, oh, well, you see, the thing is, they're just little pocket knives, and because of the huge demand and the speed of manufacture, we ask our customers to be a little bit more tolerant. And I thought to myself, not for 45 quid a throw, I'm not being more tolerant. Oh, well, you see, they're handmade. And I thought to myself, isn't that one for the books? Everybody goes on about handmade. Handmade this, handmade bread, handmade knives, handmade toasters, God knows what else. Handmade is the thing to have. And yet they'll tell you when it suits them that handmade is going to have little faults and little problems. So you're better off, if you want something that hasn't got faults and problems, does that mean you're better off buying something that's machine made? Right? Anyway, as it turns out, we agreed to disagree, and I told him to just cancel the whole order. I could have had half of it, but I decided no, as I wasn't prepared to deal with a guy with that sort of attitude. And you know, as I say, I don't want this to reflect badly on the manufacturer, who I'm not naming, but I do think it's just one of those things. Now, I don't know if I'm being picky, but as I say, you know, handmade, we accept the foibles and we pay a premium, you know. And I said to him, I said, the Chinese can do it. If the Chinese can do it, why can't we? The Americans can do it. The British can do it. But this particular manufacturer has in the past demonstrated to me that they have a problem with it. And so I always ask to have them checked. And in the past, the companies I've dealt with have said, yeah, no problem, we'll do it, we'll do the best we can. Not this guy. So tell me what you think, guys. Am I being too picky? You know, is handmade so special? And most of these knives on this desk today, you know, that's handmade. You know, Case will tell you that's handmade. That's handmade. Right? I was looking at one of the. I've only got 2 Rough Riders, and the other one of this is in a box. It's going to be a giveaway at some point, and they say that these are handmade, so they're all handmade, presumably because you can't get a machine to do all those tasks. It's a little task to make them. But does that mean we have to tolerate faults in our goods? Does that mean we have to tolerate faults in our knives because they're handmade? Answers on a postcard. Thanks for listening. Talk to you soon. Bye.